Here. It's the time of the year we're going to talk about something. Leif Erikson. Yesterday was Leif Erikson Day. Now, I first became aware of this in the third grade in grammar school. We had our history book, which was a very carefully edited history book because this was a parochial school. And they had covered a few things. For instance, going back, they had covered the Crusades and the Muslims. And the only thing the little boys remarked about, there was a drawing on the page of four guys in robes on horseback charging with curved swords. Well, we thought that was cool because we used to watch that Captain Gallant with the French Foreign Legion. It was a kid's show on TV. So the religious lesson was lost on us. We just thought, hey, look at the guys in robes with those cool swords. Then we got to the Vikings, and they were going to teach us about Leif Erikson, who they made a big thing about him being a Christian and how he discovered America first. And I thought that was cool, because I always thought Columbus was something of a dud. I had no, I couldn't relate to Columbus. He was just everything I was not. And but Leif I could, sort of. But then we heard about some other things, like his father, Erik. And of course, in parochial school, they want to talk about Leif being good and how Erik was, not quite a good man because he stuck to the old gods. And yet, something inside me, I felt more towards Erik and how he wouldn't let them build the church within sight of his house because he wanted to remain true to the old gods, specifically Thor, who I thought was really cool. And so this sparked a lot of interest in me. I could really identify with these Vikings, with these Norse people and their gods. And I went to the public library because I was far more literate than most kids my age. I have the curse and blessing of high IQ. And I read a few books written for my age level about the Vikings and their gods and all. I thought this was cool. And we all knew something of it. There was a tree on the one street that was massive they called Thor's tree. And let me get to that. One of the other things they taught, and this was in the religion class, was how these Germans had a tree that they worshipped. And this saint, to show the power of his God, went and chopped down the German's tree and said, see, your gods didn't come after me. And I think they got the point wrong, because right then and there I had one question. Why didn't the Germans chop down that saint? That's what should have happened there. But I identified with this. And one of the other things that came, there was this stuff called Warriors of the World. And they were made by a company named Marx. And I had the set of the Vikings. I had to have that set. And I really felt the connection. But of course, it was hard to go too far with it in that environment. Parochial school and that type of religion is very stifling, and they're on you constantly like white on rice. You can't express an original thought around those people. It's not about thinking, it's about indoctrination. So this interest I had, I couldn't discuss with anything. I couldn't discuss at home because that was a hostile atmosphere already. And they were crazy. So I had to keep this to myself and thinking, well, let me try and pray to Thor, which seemed like a good idea. But I had to be careful there too, because there was always that guilt thing of that just harsh religious indoctrination. But there I was at the age of 8 connecting with something that would stay with me for the rest of my life. And that feeling that this is who I am, this is what I am. Keep in mind, I'd been adopted, and I never felt like part of that family or their tribe. But he was something I could size up on, And I had that feeling inside. It was like coming across an old friend. And so it was an interesting time, to say the least. I always thought that Leif, for all his good stuff of discovering North America, just kind of missed the boat. His father had it right, stick to the old gods. They're the best gods. And all these years later, I still feel that way. Only now I have the proof and experience to back it up. Happy Leif Erikson Day. This is Uncle Thor. Have a good one.